Support for Wavemakers comes from listeners like you and the Tampa Bay Times. The Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper is available around the Tampa Bay area and online at tampabay.com. Thanks to the Tampa Bay Times for their support.
Good morning and welcome to Wavemakers, Spring Fun Drive edition. This is Wavemakers with Janet and Tom. I am Janet.
And I'm Tom.
And we do have a special guest in the studio, but we're going to talk about that later because first what we're talking about is Spring Fun Drive. Here we are, WMNF Wavemakers. We need to raise $1,800 today. $1,800. So call right now. Don't waste time. You want to be one of the first people to donate to Wavemakers. I know you do.
If you enjoy our conversations that we have every week with people making a difference in our community, people who are giving back, people who are not just sitting around being keyboard warriors complaining about the world, but they're rolling up their sleeves and they're getting stuff done, please call and donate. It is how this radio station survives, and it's how we will remain on the air.
70% of our funding comes from the generous contributions of donors like you, so we would love you to support the station. We have all kinds of great thank you gifts for you. We have a tote bag. We have a new design with our T-shirt, this beautiful blue color with a butterfly on it, a beautiful butterfly on it, an 88.5. And for Wavemakers, we have special gifts for you, thank you gifts, 3 or 4 special gifts. One of them is an incredible model airplane from Tampa International Airport. It's 2 feet high, 2 feet long, 2 feet wide. It's really super cool on a mahogany base. If you want to see what it looks like, Google WMNF Wavemakers and go to our page. There's a picture of it there. It is really awesome, cool.
It's not the kind of thing you can just go to the airport and buy. This is a very, very limited selection. If you're an aviation enthusiast, you're going to love this. It says Tampa International Airport emblazoned on the side of the plane, and it's really cool if you're into model airplanes.
And my gosh, Tampa International Airport, aren't they doing all kinds of great things? They've got this new flight to Mexico City.
Nonstop flight to Mexico City. They've been trying to get that for years.
For the second year in a row, they have been named the #1 large airport by J.D. Power. We all, you know you love Tampa International Airport. You know you love WMNF. Give us a call, $250. That plane is yours. $120 donation. You can get a Path of the Panther book signed by conservation photographer Carlton Ward Jr., who has been a guest on our show 2 times, talking about the work that he has done to protect the Florida panther, the Florida Wildlife Corridor, and now he's moving on to the Gulf of Mexico. That's for a $120 donation. Also,
we had Carlton Ward on our show January 30th. It was a fascinating conversation. The guy is making a huge impact, and this book that he has published with his art, his photographs of panthers and other wildlife in Florida is stunning. And it would make a wonderful coffee table book, but it's really a kind of book you want to just page through because it's a fascinating look at a part of Florida a lot of people don't see.
And then the third thank you gift that we have for you is a book, a compilation of articles printed in the Forum magazine, which is the magazine of Florida Humanities. It's called Once Upon a Time in Florida. It has some of the most incredible writers and journalists that have contributed to it. Bill Maxwell, who has been on our show.
Former
Gary
Wavemaker.
Mormino also has been on our show. And also other Edna Buchanan, not on our show, but
Bill DeYoung, who was our guest last week.
Bill
He's
DeYoung,
a St. Petersburg author.
Harry Cruz, a very noted author. His work is in there. It's a great read, a beautiful book, a beautiful history of Florida. Also yours for a $120 donation, and for a $140 donation, we have 2 tickets to the Listening Room Festival this Saturday.
Friday, March 1st.
Friday, March 1st
That
at
is
the
voice
Palladium.
of Fran Snyder.
and Fran Snyder is with us today.
Fran is a wavemaker himself, and that's why we invited him on this show today, because, he appreciates WMNF. This is the kind of station, really the only station in this market, Fran, that's playing the kind of music that you're presenting. And what you're doing this weekend is a little bit different, but tell us about what you have been doing to lead up to this. You If you've ever been, if our listeners have ever been to a house concert, maybe a friend has a little concert of 50 people, very possible that Fran Snyder had something to do with it. So tell us about what your organization has been doing.
And the name of it is
So we have the Listening Room Network, which is worldwide. We encourage and inspire and educate people about how to bring music into their home with artists that they love and enjoy. And we promote house concerts really as private events. And the idea is that we have this wonderful network of artists and hosts and fans who can connect through our network for these types of events. And I fell in love with this idea as a performer. I was a singer-songwriter on the road for 25 years. And in the early 2000s, when I was looking for house concerts to play, there really wasn't a good website, not only just to find venues, or these house concert hosts, but also just for general education about how do these... It was
kind of word of mouth, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like the little secret of the super folk community.
Let's go back and explain what it is. So house concert, you have a traveling musician. They're a national or international recording artist that are touring. But instead of going to a club, they go to somebody's house and play. Yeah. And there's 40 or 50 or so people, and...
So they can be much, much smaller than that. That's one of the challenges that I've had for more than a decade now, is a lot of people, their first experience with a house concert is they went to a big one. Okay. And there was 50, 60, 100 people there. It was a backyard, or it was a mansion or something like that. What people don't know is that 90% of our events are 30 people or less.
Oh, okay.
I used to host shows in my little apartment in downtown St. Petersburg with a maximum of 15 people. But because I was willing to host on a Sunday, or even a Monday or a Tuesday evening, when artists have a really difficult time finding meaningful work on weeknights, and the idea that they can come play for an hour in front of a captive audience where there's no TV above the musician's head, there's no distractions,
not a bunch of drunk people screaming, and
I mean, sometimes people do get a little tipsy. We can't prevent that everywhere, but in general, you're dealing with people that are really there for the music, and they just really cherish that, this up close and personal. You're not in the 10th row. You're in the first, second, or third row. You're so close. And with these small events, sometimes it's totally unplugged. And that's really, really magical for some people.
Who are the people that participate in this network? What kind of artists? Where do you find them?
So we really are a terrific fit for artists that are a singer-songwriter, small groups, duos. So imagine, again, if you're looking to play concerts, these intimate shows in living rooms, if you put in a full band, there's no room for an audience. Mm-hmm. So we really are a fantastic tool if you're an artist that's either a solo, duo, sometimes trios. But once you get into a full drum kit, it starts to really limit your options. Although we do have some big house concerts that have built a stage in their backyard and all that kind of stuff. But majority of it is these small singer-songwriters that have just incredible material but haven't quite broken through on the national scale yet.
Have you ever hosted anyone you've been doing this for 13 years, correct?
Or more, yeah. It's been a long time, yeah.
Is there anybody that you've hosted who went on to become famous, that oh my God, I can't believe this person played in a living room?
Yeah, I mean, there's different shades of
Taylor
famous.
Swift?
No. There's different shades of famous these days. But Maren Morris used to play my open mic night in Texas when I lived there many, many years ago. That was pretty wild. And and there's artists like John Mayer and Sean Mullins who played house concerts before they broke out. But a lot of that stuff sort of happened before I came onto the scene. I was actually a touring singer-songwriter back then. So. But yeah, it's just an amazing vehicle, and what's amazing is the record business is just a pale shadow of what it used to be. There's more freedom than ever. There's more opportunity than ever for artists to get by. But in terms of breaking through, there's not the infrastructure that there used to be.
Right.
So what artists are finding out, that they're redefining success for themselves, and they're saying, I don't have to sell 1 million records to call myself a success. I go out there and I do 100 shows a year. I play for people that love me. Everybody's paying attention. I don't have to fight for their attention. I make a good living.
Right.
And all of a sudden, just this formula of, anybody can be happy being a musician at this level, because the people that you meet, the experiences that you have are so heartwarming. A lot of these house concert hosts, once you've played their house, they're like, man, anytime you're passing through, we might not always be able to host you for a show, but you always have a guest room here when you're passing through, and you have these lifelong friendships. It's just incredible.
And it's sort of like a covered dish party that somebody's having. You just happen to have
they
really
different?
good music.
Yeah, so
Are they always like that?
So that's the thing. There's so much variety, right? So if you wanted to host a concert in your home, you have this blank slate of like, how do I want this to be? And there's people that go nuts and they cook for 24 hours. There's people that spend a fortune and cater. And there's people who offer a plate of cookies and hot tea, and that's it. But majority, as you described, the majority of folks will do like, a potluck type of situation where, like for us, we provide like a basic staple. So in case somebody's trying to come over right after work, they don't have to worry about getting dinner first.
Right.
We'll have something substantial. And then a few people will bring snacks. So there's always a selection of food.
And then the musicians get paid through donations to the people who are attending.
Yeah, what's amazing, again, these house concert hosts do it just simply because they love music. They're not taking a cut. They're not taking a percentage. They're not even trying to cover their expenses of entertaining and putting some food out and that kind of thing. 100% of the money goes to the artists, and it's one of the last vestiges of the cash economy too. It's super nice that you could do the Venmo thing and all that, but most often there's just a jar at the door, and people come in and they see a sign that says suggested donation 20 to 25. Be generous if you can, and it's sometimes somebody will throw $100 in there just because they're just so blown away by what happened.
Yeah, I went to my first house concert months ago, and it was a revelation. I had never been to one. It was fantastic.
So Barbara's was your first?
Friend Barbara's, yeah, who also has been a guest on the show.
Well, and also...
or no, she wasn't a guest.
Yeah, but the thing about these things is it's not like your address is published on the internet and everybody in the world can come. There's a bit of an underground nature to this. Right?
We always promote these events as private events. So we encourage you as a host to invite your friends, your neighbors, people that you know, and, it grows from there. So, your friend who came last time asks if they can bring a friend the next time. And then to supplement that with our network, we do have a network of fans who have joined. They love this kind of thing. And you can promote your shows to that audience.
Yes.
We'll talk some more about how to find out where and when these house concerts are and how you can plug into that network. But let's right now take a little moment and play some music by one of the artists who will be here, who's here for the Listening Room Festival, which goes on about a week.
Yeah.
And this is someone named Grace Morrison. What can you tell us about Grace Morrison? Grace
is superb. She's got a slight country edge to her, but it's very much the contemporary singer-songwriter. She plays keyboards, plays guitar, and has a beautiful voice. And my favorite thing about her is her songs. You'll listen to this song,
this is When It Rains by...
And take a moment and call 813-239-9663 or go online and donate now while you listen to this song.
It's a little bit different for us to be playing music on our song. We don't usually, but as you know... This is where music, culture, and news collide. And this is right here, an embodiment of music, news, and culture. There's a collision happening. You heard it, collision. And if you support the union of music, news, and culture, and those are things that are important to you, while you're listening to When It Rains by Grace Morrison, give us a call, 813-239-9663, and make a donation. Or you can go to WMNF.org and make a donation there. Here's a little bit of When It Rains by Grace Morrison.
Publicity.
So this is Grace Morrison that we're listening to right now.
Grace Morrison.
Grace Morrison, who will be here as part of the Listening Room Festival this weekend. What can you tell us about Grace and how people can find out where she's playing?
Yeah, so she'll be playing all week long starting Wednesday. Wednesday night, she's at Seven Seas Music. We do have a couple of public venue concerts as part of this festival. So she's kicking things off tomorrow at Seven Seas Music, also playing with Bud Tower. And that venue is in St. Petersburg. It's a great little guitar shop that has a stage. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to hear music. And then she'll be playing house concerts all week. She's playing Friday night, of course, our showcase that we'll be giving away tickets to for pledgers today. That's Friday night at the Palladium. I don't have her whole schedule memorized, but she's playing in, I'll tell you, she's playing in Fort Myers. She's playing in St. Petersburg. She's playing in Tampa, as well as up north. I want to say Dunedin.
Okay.
So if you donate $140, Fran has generously offered to thank you with a pair of tickets to the Friday night showcase. Is that right? For
That's
$140 donation, you'll get two pairs. You get a pair of tickets, two tickets to this event.
Listening Room Festival with 4 artists. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but let's take a minute now to remind you of why we are here today, and that is to reach our goal of $1,800. We've got about 37 minutes to go. We've got a little bit here. We've got some people to thank. We have an anonymous person that we want to thank who made us a donation of $50. We appreciate it very much. We also received a donation from Julie Jenkins for $10. Thank you very much, Julie. We adore you. We also have an anonymous donation from Bob, who says that our show is always local and relevant and we always have worthwhile interviews. Thank you for that, Bob. That was a $100 contribution.
Thank you, Bob.
We need you to call. We're only at, where are we at? Oh, my goodness, Tom, $160.
We have a ways to go, folks. Please call 813-239-9663 and pledge. You know, what we normally do here every week is bring you thought-provoking interviews with people who are making a difference in the Tampa Bay area. This aligns with the mission of WMNF. We are trying to be an alternative to the mainstream. We are trying to bring you voices of people you might not have really heard very much about or you're curious about. We had Nadine Smith just a couple of weeks ago talking about her concerns regarding the shooting death of a gay man at a dog park. No charges have been placed in that, and she is wondering why. It's those kinds of voices you'll hear on Wavemakers every week. As we mentioned, we had photographer Carlton Ward on our show in late January talking about his efforts to save the wild parts of Florida. We have had the new president of the Urban League from Pinellas County talking about the challenges they are facing.
Oh, and speaking of music, news, and culture colliding, we had Alex Harris, a fabulous musician who is running the Arts Conservatory for Teens. He founded that in St. Petersburg in Pinellas County to help young people.
You may be familiar with his music, but what his real passion is education, particularly helping kids who need a hand up. We had author Matt Dixon on for one of the first interviews he did for a book that he has written called Swamp Monsters, Trump versus DeSantis. We had him the very first week that his book came out. And in December, we had an interview with journalist Tim Burke, who sadly just last week was indicted for his work in trying to expose the lies of Tucker Carlson on Fox News. These are the kinds of interviews that we bring to you every week. If you appreciate this kind of work that we're doing, please stop what you're doing. Call 813-239-9663 or go to WMNF.org and pledge.
And lots of great thank you gifts. Another thing that's new from WMNF right now is an umbrella. So, you know, you can always use an umbrella, right? You can have an umbrella.
In Florida. You need
$120 for an umbrella, $10 a month if you want to join the Circle of Friends and you can get that umbrella. You can also get a pair of tropical heat wave tickets for $240.
It was a great event last year, and it's coming back again. It's always been a place where culture happens. So we need you to call 813-239-9663 and make that donation.
this is the last day of the fund drive. So if you've been listening all week, or if you've tuned out all week because you don't want to hear it, the fundraising, but we got to do it. Give us a call, 813-239-9663. You've been listening all week. You haven't made that donation yet. Call right now. It's not too late. Support WMNF. We are not the only public affairs show on WMNF. In the mornings, it's jam-packed with great public affairs shows. A lot of them are call-in shows, and you can speak directly to lawmakers. We've had U.S. Representative Kathy Castor on our show. We've had City Council member Bill Carlson on our show. It's an opportunity often to reach out directly to the people who are making the decisions in the region, and you can pose questions to them directly if you like.
Because WMNF is volunteer-powered, listener-supported, commercial-free radio. We depend on our listeners to stay on the air. We're mission-driven, volunteer-powered. That really means something. That's one of the reasons we do the show we do, because of the mission that WMNF has. Sean?
Janet and Tom, we're really looking forward to having people donate during Wavemakers. I hope that you can call in now, 813-239-9663. We're happy to have thanked the people that Janet already thanked. Now we're looking for you. If you support shows like this, give us a call, 813-239-9663. We have an ambitious goal this hour. We need to raise $1,800. We're part of the way there, but we do need your help to get there, get over the top. They have a lot of great thank you gifts. You can call and ask your phone bank volunteer what the thank you gifts are and what you'd like to get for that. But we really need to hear from you that there's support for shows like Wavemakers on 88.5 FM. Call now, 813-239-9663. You can also call. You can also go to the website wmnf.org and make your donation there.
At a time when the media landscape is shrinking down to practically nothing, WMNF is trying to do its best to serve the community by providing news and information that you need to live your daily lives. And so I hope if you appreciate the work that not only we're doing on this show, 1 hour a week, but what this station does every day, 24 hours a day, please call 813-239-9663.
Let's get back to our guest today. I'm talking to Fran Snyder, who's the founder of the Listening Room Network, and we love having him here on WMNF, a place where news, culture, and music collide.
And this is really our first purely music guest. I think we've had a couple of authors who also are involved in music, but what Fran is doing is it kind of defines this thing that MNF does of news, music, and culture colliding. So
you mentioned that we were talking about Grace Morrison and where she was going to play, and you mentioned places. You mentioned Fort Myers. So what is the area that you cover, the Listening Room Network, that you are involved in?
Yeah, so the Listening Room Network is, technically worldwide. We don't have any shows in Taiwan right now, but mostly it's the United States. We have a handful of hosts in Europe. It's a really fun thing. I've seen many artists from our network go to Europe and tour for the first time. And, it's not the disconnected thing of like going to a new country and not knowing anybody. You go there and you're staying with a family, and and sometimes they'll take the next day off work so they can show you around their town. It's just an amazing way to tour. But speaking of connectivity, if I can just commend you guys real quick, one of the things that I love the most about MNF and shows like yours is like, in general, we're more connected than ever electronically, but there's so many people out there who feel disconnected from their community. Mm-hmm. And we get, all our news in these tiny little sound bites. And you have shows like yours where you get to explore a topic for a full hour. Right. And that kind of depth is something that's missing, in media in general. And so it's not only the fact that you guys bring sort of non-mainstream different opinions to the thing, but you're actually able to explore them here. Which is one of my favorite things about WMNF is that you guys get to go deep, and I love the way we're going deep on the House Council thing right now. It's really
our listeners get to interact. They can call up and ask a member of Congress a question.
Well, we don't have a member of Congress today, but we do have Fran Snyder. And you can't call and ask a question. You can call and make a donation.
You can.
But you can email dj@wmnf.org if you'd like to pose a question to Fran. So you were saying this is international. This week there's an international component, right? To the festival.
Yeah, so our network is global, but but this Listening Room Festival started right here in the Tampa Bay area in 2012. So this is our the network's been around for almost 20 years now, but the festival is 13 years old. And this is the one time a year where we encourage all of our hosts to work together, especially the ones in this area, to provide the best week of the year for these 4 or 5 artists that get selected from a contest that we have. And because year round, these hosts, they book whoever they want whenever we want. We just support them. But once a year, we ask them to work together to create a tour. So all these artists who are coming for the festival, they're essentially doing a house concert tour. And then the global component is we have hosts from outside of Florida. We have hosts outside of Paris, France, who fly. This is their 3rd time flying in for this festival, and they're going to go to a different house concert every night, and they'll go to the showcase on Friday night. And it's just fantastic for me to see this, of course, but for our community to, it's kind of reconnecting with your tribe.
How did they get connected to the festival?
The hosts?
Yeah, no, these folks that are coming from Paris.
So, they host shows in Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah, so they're part of our network.
I see.
And they're actually in a little town called Orsay, which is outside of Paris, a beautiful little village. And they've been hosting shows for 9 years now. They've done 100 shows.
Wow.
In their home. And they're just an amazing couple, and they come here. They love to come to America, and this is their 3rd time making a trip to Florida.
How did you get connected with it?
They joined as
How did you get connected with the Listening Room Network?
I started it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in 2000.
Oh, you started. Okay.
Yeah, this goes way back. So I started this thing in 2006.
Oh, okay.
And it was it was born out of me wanting to play these shows. At that time, it was called concertsinyourhome.com. That's how it started. And then in about 10 years ago, we wanted to also be able to support public listening rooms that provide this sort of intimate atmosphere. So that's why we changed the name from Concerts in Your Home to Listening Room Network.
Got it.
And then in 2012, we started the festival, so it's Listening Room Festival.
And it's kind of an interesting way, if I think about it, if I'm traveling, like I could go someplace and get connected to the Listening Room Network, and then I could go see a concert, at
absolutely.
somebody's home, and you kind of get to know somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, we have fans who every time they travel, they go to our website and see, can I find a house concert in this area that I'm going?
So how can people find house concerts and find out more information about the Listening Room Festival?
Yeah, so right now they can join for free. If you go to listeningroomfestival.com, there will be a link that says join as a fan for free. Normally it's $10 a year, but it's totally free during the festival, so that's everybody's welcome to do that. And then they'll become a member of the network, which they'll get an email every 2 weeks with the upcoming schedule in their area.
Okay.
And so if you are interested in this kind of thing, you can donate $140 and get a pair of tickets to the Friday night event.
Yeah, the Friday night show, you get to see 4 wonderful acts on the big stage. It's Jenna Nichols, Grace Morrison, Daniel Niehoff, and Spencer LaJoy. We'll have 2 acts, then an intermission, and then 2 more acts. It's a really beautiful night. People last year told us it was just one of the most magical nights of the year for them.
So they all come together for that one show, but they're all available every other throughout the week. They're playing in houses,
in various
and
houses. And
let's
venues.
Hear from another one of the artists that's going to be here for the Listening Room Festival, Spencer LaJoy.
813-239-9663 while you listen to this great song.
Tell us a little bit about Spencer LaJoy, though, before we turn it on. And while you're dialing, Fran's going to tell us a little bit about Spencer LaJoy before we listen to him.
Yeah, Spencer's a remarkable artist. She just finished a really successful Kickstarter campaign. She plays keyboards and guitar, wonderful voice, and she does a little bit of the the looping thing with her voice. She does some really super cool stuff with the loop pedal. She had a really breakout song called "Plowshare's Prayer" this past year, and her new record is just absolutely wonderful.
Great. So let's listen to Spencer LaJoy right now. Here she is. This is Reverie.
You have a way of saying names like they're for someone you love. You hold a gaze like a grudge and a personal one. What I wouldn't give history book you authored and memorized. A page if you saw me, you would recognize. There's no reason. After one short look across the room, I'd even cross your mind again, but it sends me into reverie. Black and white in my mind, I'm light on my feet. There's rain on your cheek, you try and untether me. Close up by the streetlight, by the time that I come back to real life, you're out of sight. What are the chances you would be here in my coffee shop? What's a cool way to ask you if you come here a lot? There's no reason. After one sweet smile across the room, I'd even cross your mind again, but it sends me into reverie. Black and white in my mind, I'm light on my feet. There's rain on your cheek, you try and untether me. Close up.
Okay, so that was a little bit from Spencer LaJoy, who will be here for the Listening Room Festival this week, and she is participating also in some house concerts as part of the Listening Room Network. We do have a couple people to thank. If you have not donated yet, go ahead.
$1,800 is our goal, folks.
813-239-9663.
And we've only
Please
got
go.
about 22 minutes left.
I want to thank two people. John Dingfelder, for his generous donation of $25. He says, love you guys. Keep up the good work. John hosts a show, an excellent show on Friday mornings called Down and Dirty, an awesome show. And Thomas Reese gave us a generous donation of $100.
Thank you, Thomas.
He took the refrigerator magnet. Thomas was a guest on our show. He is somebody who retired from the Water Management District and is now working to save seagrasses.
Seagrasses, yes.
So very super cool. Somebody, a wave maker, very interesting, having the second act in life and making a huge difference in the community.
You've
and
probably
that's
heard about seagrasses being destroyed by all sorts of pollution, and instead of just sitting around, wringing his hands, he's out there actually doing it. He raised money from the legislature, and he's actually about to plant seagrass.
But 813-239-9663. Give us a call. Make that donation right now. You know you love WMNF. You know you love Wavemakers. 813-239-9663. We're depending on you to make that donation right now.
Sean Canan, our news director, is here.
And that's what the show is all about. It's about Wavemakers and interviewing the people in our community who are making a difference. If you want to hear from them and you like the interviews that Janet and Tom do, then this show is worth supporting. Give us a call at 813-239-9663. You can also make a donation on our secure website, which is WMNF.org. And I also want to say that this morning I got an email from the Florida Association of Broadcast Journalists. They announced this morning the finalists for the Florida News Awards contest. And as Randy mentioned last hour, the WMNF News team was one of the finalists.
Oh, great.
And so we're really excited about that. We're going to find out more about that maybe in April. But also another finalists were Janet Scherberger and Tom Scherberger.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I nominated you for that award for your show when you interviewed Barbara Peterson with the Florida Center for Government Accountability. Mm-hmm. And so apparently the people who decide on who the finalists are thought that show was worthy enough that it's one of the finalists for a Professional Journalists Award from the Florida Association of Broadcast Journalists.
That is so exciting.
So
this is breaking news. Tom and I are just hearing this right now. Yeah. We are now officially an almost award-winning show.
Well, we're finalists.
We're finalists.
We're been nominated.
We're first runner-up, maybe second, third, whatever. That's awesome.
Whatever. So tell people about that show and about that interview and about why that's worth supporting your show.
So Barbara Peterson is running this nonprofit, and we interview a lot of people who have nonprofits, but this is focused on public records in Florida, and it's very difficult to get public records, even though they belong to who? The public. And so she helped start this group called the Florida Center for Government Accountability. But they also publish news on their website through the Florida Trident. They broke the biggest political story of 2023 about the then GOP Republican party chairman in Florida who was being investigated for rape. But those charges were later changed. He's being investigated for something else. And, of course, it came out about his wife, and they're involved in. She helped start the Moms for Liberty, a right-wing group, and
she's a school board member.
She's a school board member, and apparently about to be appointed to the state ethics board. Even though she apparently, although she's very anti-LGBT, she enjoys threesomes with her husband. But whatever, hypocrisy drives the news. But we were really the first news outlet that kind of focused on the Florida Trident and what they're doing.
Right, because a small nonprofit. It's a new type of news model.
And really literally making waves in the world of journalism.
Yeah. So
that's very exciting. We're
very honored, and thank you for nominating us. We really appreciate that.
I nominated it because it was such a great show, and you guys are such great hosts, and this show is worth supporting. Please call now and support Wavemakers, 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org.
And we support each other here. Sean asked me to substitute for him next week, and I'll be filling in for Sean on Tuesday. We'll be interviewing Susan McManus, the political science professor for the University of South Florida, who is probably the most quoted political scientist in Florida about politics, especially this time. Every 4 years, reporters start calling people, wanting insight about Florida politics, and she's usually on their speed dial.
So that's 813-239-9663. If you'd like to donate, you can also go to WMNF.org to make your donation.
And if you do donate, we have lots of thank you gifts for you. You don't have to give $1,000 to get a People's Patio paver, although you can, and we encourage that. You can donate $1,000 to get a Tropical Heatwave Oasis Pass, which is a really fun way to spend your time at Tropical Heatwave. Or for $35, you can get a bumper sticker. For $35, you can get a refrigerator magnet. How about a tote bag? Everybody needs a tote bag.
You can't have too many tote bags.
Don't take that plastic bags at Publix. You can you take your tote bag.
And we have special thank you gifts for Wavemakers donors. And the airplane, that model airplane, someone's got to take that model airplane for $250. It is a really, really cool thing to have. It's a conversation piece. If you want to see what it looks like, go to
Wavemakers page
on WMNF. Just Google Wavemakers WMNF and it'll come up. You'll see it. It's a good size. It is a very nice size. It's not a little thing. It's 2 feet wide, 2 feet long.
It's also not something you can buy at the airport.
You cannot get that anywhere.
Very limited quantities that they make these for.
Yeah, they only give them out on very special occasions. They're the kind of things that they give away when they announce new flights and they have the CEO of an airline come. They kind of trade planes. So the the airport might get an Edelweiss plane or a Lufthansa plane, and then the CEO of that company gets this Tampa International Airport plane. It can also be yours. You don't have to bring a flight to Tampa. You can get one of these planes just by making a donation of $250 to WMNF.
If you have an aviation enthusiast in your family, this is a perfect gift for them. But we also have a wonderful book published by conservation photographer Carlton Ward called Path of the Panther. It has some of the most amazing photographs of Florida panthers you've ever seen. And that's available for a $120 pledge. We also have another book that's been was recommended by the Tampa Bay Times as a book you should buy this year, published by the Florida Humanities, celebrating its 50th anniversary. The Florida Humanities focuses on history, arts, culture, all the things that make Florida what Florida is. But for many people who have just moved to Florida, they're still trying to figure out this state. This would be a great way to welcome a new visitor to Florida. Buy them this book for a $120 pledge. It covers
the history of Florida from prehistoric days to its days now as one of the most important states in the United States.
Authors such as Bill Maxwell and Harry Crews, incredible writers. Craig Pittman, former colleague from the Tampa Bay Times, he has work in there. Hilarious guy, always takes an irreverent approach to Florida history, but always focused on Florida history and protecting the environment. So call 813-239-9663 right now or go online to WMNF.org. It's very easy. You can do it from your phone. You don't even have to talk to a person.
And we also want to hear from you, too, if you have an idea for who we should have on our show. Who do you think is a wave maker? Who is making a difference in the community in your world that you think would be a great person on our show? You can also email us at wmnfwavemakers@gmail.com. With us today is Fran Snyder. He's a wave maker. He's been making waves in the music world, in the world of culture, for a long time with his Listening Room Network, which is a way to listen to musicians and performers in homes, private homes, rather than going to a club. There is a very casual, very intimate, and all of the money that's raised ends up going to the musicians. So it's a great way for you to see music, hear music, get to know people. Very interesting approach. So how many, you started this, you said it's been about since 2006, it's been going on?
The website officially launched in 2006.
How many hosts do you think you have worldwide?
We probably have 500 or so right now. It fluctuates quite a bit. People take extended breaks. Obviously COVID made a lot of people take a break for a long time, and we're seeing a steady stream of people coming back. But it's fun because we're starting to see, a lot of our audience was baby boomers for a long time, and most of our hosts are baby boomers and seniors, and we're seeing like the Gen X and the millennials are starting to come in now, and because they're finally able to afford a house and have a a decent sized living room, and decent connections in the community where they can have a handful of people show up at a concert. So it's really fun. But for anybody who's interested in this thing, this weekend is just a great way to get an introduction to this culture of house concerts. And for that $140 pledge, you can get 2 tickets to the Festival Showcase, which is the biggest show of the festival this Friday, March 1st.
And I have to imagine that when you started putting this together, did you look into the legalities of it? I mean, are there legal issues or anything does this essentially a business or something if somebody's doing this? How does this work?
So no, essentially, 100% of the money goes to the artist. So the homeowners basically do this. You think of it as imagine if you had a Super Bowl party and everybody came over and chipped in $20 for pizza or whatever, right? So that's kind of the principle that everybody's coming together, chipping in $20 to hear music. And so the homeowner is not collecting money. The money goes to a jar, and the jar gets picked up by the artist. Now, as a homeowner, of course, you need to have your homeowner's insurance and all that kind of stuff. And certainly you don't want to have prized possessions right by the door.
Right.
But the people that we attract into this community are super kind and generous. And I'll tell you, in 15 years, since 2006, no, what is it, 17, 18 years now, we've never had a serious problem. Yeah. Never. We have thousands of events every year.
They're opening their doors to strangers, which I think is a really community-minded thing to do. They want to expose this art.
Yeah, but they do it in a safe way.
They do it in a safe way.
The majority of the people in your home are people that you know.
Yeah.
They're friends and friends of friends and neighbors and that kind of thing. And then your circle of friendships expands from there, whether it's, a handful of people who come through our network or, friends of friends getting invited. You grow your mailing list.
So this is word of mouth.
Exactly.
Marketing, except on the internet. It's a great way to connect people who might be otherwise.
It's a great way to expand your social circle.
And we're offering as a thank you gift for a $140 donation to Wavemakers. You can get a pair of tickets to this Friday's Listening Room.
The Listening Room Festival
Showcase at the Palladium Theater in downtown St. Petersburg, run by a former Wavemaker and friend of ours, Paul Wilborn.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I just want to say, we've got 10 minutes left in our show. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here pitching. We do have someone to thank. I want to thank, this is an anonymous gift of $35. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
We got 10 minutes to go. We got a long way to our goal. We have these great thank you gifts. It's the end of the fund drive. You got to call 813-239-9663 or email us or go to the website wmnf.org and make a donation. $120 for the books, $140 for the tickets. That is less than a cup of Starbucks coffee every day for a month. I mean, just
think about the value.
Go ahead
you get
and make it something you can keep. It doesn't just go through you. You're going to keep it. You're going to have it. You're going to have a keepsake book. You're going to have this incredible memento. You're going to go to a great concert and have a wonderful experience. 813-239-9663 and make that donation.
Yeah, if you're a WMNF fan, I mean, how can you be a fan of this station and not love acoustic singer-songwriter type of music? So this is like the perfect show for the perfect station this Friday.
This station,
Fran, you're a good pitcher.
Yeah. This station is where
that was convincing.
music, news, and culture collide. Music, news, and culture collide right here at WMNF. When they collide, sparks are made, energy is created, and you just never know what's going to happen.
And I'm going to play just a little bit now of this song, Civil War Letters by Daniel Niehoff. He's somebody who is coming to the Listening Room Festival. And Tom and I picked this song to play a little bit of because we've done quite a few shows talking about Confederate monuments or the Black cemeteries, rewriting history. Yeah. We've had a lot of conversations about that. We've had a lot of conversations, guests that we've been talking to, just about the toxic political environment.
And we are at a point in our country where people are divided and families are divided over our political choices. And this song, because it's written during the Civil War, it is about brothers fighting brothers. Brothers
fighting brothers and loving each other and feeling that they're both wrong. Each brother feels that the other brother is wrong. It's very fascinating.
But they love each other.
But let's give it a listen a little bit. You can take a break from listening to us. Pick up that phone, 813-239-9663. Go to WMNF.org and make a donation. This is Daniel Niehoff, Civil War Letters.
Back in 1862, the battle lines cut through the north and south. It said, "Dear mother, I'm dreaming of the day that I get to make my way back to that house. You know I miss you, and I miss Father too. But there's somebody else I can't leave out. So if you talk to brother, tell him that I love him, although I think he chose the wrong side. But I won't hold that against him. I hope God is with him, and I pray we both make it home alive. Miles away, there was another soldier like him, but in a different color uniform. By a lantern light, he wrote his own letter on a tiny piece of paper, slightly torn. It said, "Dear Father, do you recall the time I didn't have to fight in this damned war? And if you told a brother, tell him that I love him, although I think he chose the wrong side. But I won't hold that against him. I hope God is with him, and I pray we both make it home alive." It don't matter who they're fighting for, they're just praying that they both survive this war. If they make it home, there won't be battle lines. They'll greet each other, arms open wide, and that's why they ride. If you talk to brother, tell him that I love him, although I think he chose the wrong side. pray we both make it home alive.
We have just 4 minutes left for the Wavemakers show, or 5 minutes left for Wavemakers. We need you to call 813-239-9663 and make a donation to Wavemakers on WMNF. We do want to thank Ronald Coles, who gave us a generous donation of $100. Thank you very much, Ronald Coles.
Thank
we appreciate
Ronald
it.
Coles. Be like
you
Ronald.
need to call. We have to raise $1,800. We are nowhere near that. You need to give us a call, 813-239-9663, or go to WMNF.org and show how much you care about community radio. This is really, if you haven't donated yet to the fund drive, do it now, not just because of us, but just because
You want to keep
WMNF.
the station going,
You got to
don't
keep
you?
the station going. It's such an great asset that we have here in this community.
And that was Daniel Niehoff that you just heard, and you can see him Friday at the Palladium.
That's a very powerful song.
With he's just, his voice.
Really
he played in my
terrific
living room
song.
last year. We were just blown away. He's so powerful.
Now, explain to us again how, in these few minutes we have left, that people can access the Listening Room Network. You Google it, go to the website. There's a schedule, but there's no addresses because they're house concerts. I'm making air quotes. Y'all can't see that.
Yeah, essentially, you just join our network as a fan. And
does it cost anything?
Okay, it's free during the festival,
Okay.
and then you'll get an email with the upcoming schedule, and you can see the schedule on the website as well. So you can log in and see. And then when you see the schedule, you click on Get Info, and you can RSVP to a show, and you'll get an email confirmation from the host. It's the same thing you do on every other site out there, whether it's Airbnb or whatever. It's just you just follow the instructions, and the performers this week are just incredible, and you can see all 4 of them this Friday at the Palladium with just a pledge of $140.
And the Wavemakers show is really about people who are making a difference, people who are making waves, and Fran has been doing that here for years. You may not have known it. Maybe you've gone to one of these house concerts, but we're featuring him today because WMNF is where music news
and culture
collide. And Sean is here.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Anonymous, who just called in a generous $100 donation. Anonymous says, play more music, and I want to apologize to her. She was getting her donation taken, and then the phone disconnected. We had a little bit of tech trouble, so sorry about that. But we thank you so much for
Anonymous.
your donation. And now we need to hear from you. 813-239-9663. In the last 2.5 minutes of Wavemakers, we really need to get this last flurry of support to help put Wavemakers over the goal. I think that if we got a $1,000 donation, we might make the goal. Give us a call right now, 813-239.
And you could get that plane for $1,000. You can get it for $250, but we'll give it to you for $1,000 as well. So go ahead and call 813-239-9663.
You can get Carlton Ward's beautiful Path of the Panther book. Carlton Ward is a wavemaker who is making a huge difference in the Florida environment. He is trying to save the wild parts of Florida. For a $120 pledge, you can have that autographed book, by the way. It's autographed by
inscription.
Carlton Ward.
And Fran, I've got a question for you. Do you vet the hosts? How do you vet the hosts? How does that work?
Yeah, everybody who joins our network has a little conversation with me just to make sure we know exactly how we can best help with what they're doing and that their motives are the right ones. If you're trying to make a buck as a house concert host, it just puts you in jeopardy in terms of insurance and that kind of stuff. So we really try to make sure people are just in it to support music, to support musicians, just like you can support this show.
That's right.
Yes.
813-239-9663.
We are in the last minute of Wavemakers. Please call now and express your support.
$1,000 in 1 minute.
Doing.
That'll get us to our goal.
As you heard from Sean, we're very excited with the breaking news that we are a finalist now for an interview that we did with Barbara Peterson of the Florida Center for Government Accountability. It's the kind of work we like to do every week, giving you information and news that you're not going to hear anywhere else. So please call right now and pledge your support for this station and this show, 813-239-9663.
Or go to WMNF.org and make that donation. We've got just a couple seconds left. So, Fran, tell everyone a little bit how they can can they go to get information on the Listening Room Festival this weekend?
The best place to go is listeningroomfestival.com, and you'll see the information about joining as a fan and also information about tickets or anything else that you want to look at. And again, it's a phenomenal lineup. You can see all 4 artists.
Okay.
At the Palladium Theater.
And keep listening all day and keep pledging your support.